Hi, everybody. What's going on? Welcome back to episode number 2 of Collard Greens and Sushi. I am your girl, Malinda.
And I'm Kelsey. Yay. We're here.
Kelsey,
We're here.
you.
It is good to see you too. You look really nice. You look really nice
Thank you.
there.
You always look nice. Doesn't
Glory.
Kelsey have beautiful skin? Like, her skin is like
Mm,
perfect. But you
no.
know what? Black don't crack unless you use crack, and even sometimes then it don't crack. So we just gonna have to chalk it up to genetics.
You said unless
Thank
you use
you,
yes, yes.
ancestors.
Thank
Thank you,
you. Thank you. Thank you
thank,
for real.
thank you. Girl,
So,
what's new? What's going on?
you know what's going on with everyone. It is literally the elephant in the room, you know?
Yeah,
But it is what it is, you know? It is what it is.
yeah.
So,
What? So here's my question. What?
mhm.
And if you're living under a rock and you don't understand what we're talking about this new administration here in the United States of America. Again, that's just in case you're living under a rock. And some people are.
Yeah,
Some people are. I
some
mean,
people are. They don't
it
even know.
happens.
Just
It's
clueless.
rare, but you never know.
Yeah.
I mean, so what is so living in Japan? You're outside of the U.S., even though you are a U.S. citizen, but you're outside of the bubble we're living in, or like I want to say, the dirty plastic bag we're living in. What what is it like for you being there? You know what?
Yeah.
Is there a feel? Does it feel different? What's going on?
So, as Malinda said, like I am overseas here in Japan. I live in Yokohama, Japan. Been here for a long time. Have 2 kids over here. So, they are bicultural and, hold their American and Japanese passport. It is concerning because the whole world is watching. And as you know, the United States has kind of built itself up to be a world leader or, a police for the rest of the world. So a lot of other countries follow or look to the United States for what they're doing to kind of give them guidance to maybe what they should do or shouldn't do in their own countries. And I think because we're so closely tied as like not only allies, but also for military support, because maybe you don't know, Japan technically doesn't have its own military. They have a self-defense force, which is very similar to, I want to say like a Coast Guard mixed with National Guard, but they don't have a military, and the numbers that are actually in their self-defense forces is actually quite low. Like a lot of people don't want to join. A lot of people don't have nationalism. They may have pride for being Japanese, but are they willing to fight for it? No, because what happened in the past. A lot of people don't have that spirit that people before them may have had, or maybe were forced to have by the prior um I don't want to say administrations, but basically the prior emperors that were in charge and military
Right,
forces that were here back in the day. So a lot of people
right,
they just like, I'm just trying to live my best life peacefully.
right.
I'm trying to have the
And I
Zen.
Right.
Yeah.
And I do want to clarify for the audience, there is a difference between Japan and say South Korea, where South Korea you are
Yes.
required
Right.
and you're not required
Mm-mm.
for joining the self-defense force in Japan, correct?
Right. So nobody, you don't have to join. People don't hear, it's even difficult to get people to vote. A lot of Japanese people that I have personally met, and I'm not saying this as the whole country because I don't know the whole country, but just in my personal experience, because I used to teach Japanese adult students for about 9 years. A lot of them didn't know, like, even how their own government's system, their own government worked. They didn't
Mhm.
even understand, how a prime minister is elected or the other options from the main 2 parties or
And
how
you
much
definitely see that here in America as
yeah.
well. You definitely see that people don't understand what government does, what those roles are, how things happen the way they happen.
Right.
So that's interesting to see that that's also a
Oh yeah.
issue
Oh yeah.
in another country, and a first world country at that.
Yeah, I think a lot of younger people that I encountered, especially when I was teaching young adults, is that they just felt like it didn't matter. Like, and that happens in
Mhm.
the States too. They were like, I could vote, but what difference is it going to make? Or they're all crooks anyways, or they're going to do what they want anyways.
So
So a lot of people felt
disenchanted.
that.
Hmm.
Hmm. And that's the
Disenchanted.
same
You're
when it
right.
comes to, yeah. It's the
A
same when it
lot
comes
of
to the States.
Yeah, I think a lot of youth, especially, are very disenchanted with,
Hmm.
because the system has failed them.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
has. It has failed them. I can't speak about Japan, but I can definitely speak um, for America and living here. I understand why so many young people feel the way they feel.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like, well, it never works. It never pans out. The bad guys always win. The people
Right.
always get away with it. Why should I care? Why do you need my vote? And the sad thing is you definitely saw that with this past election. You know, there were a lot of people who didn't vote. People who withheld their vote, but that's a whole nother issue. But you
Right.
definitely who were very just disenchanted, that feeling of hopelessness that, oh, it's not going to change. It's, same thing, new face kind of thing. But it's definitely
Yeah.
interesting to see that that's not just in America. And I wonder if that's worldwide, and why
Hmm.
is it that you see it in these first world countries more than anything? Maybe this is something that is taken for granted,
Yeah.
where people are you have other countries where people are fighting for the right to vote.
Exactly. And I
So,
look at other countries. I was just reading the news online because I usually don't. I try not to watch world news, but I
mhm,
will occasionally read the articles because then I can skim through what I want and most important stuff and whatnot. And I was reading an article about how like Thailand just passed same sex marriage, and I just thinking about, some people look at Thailand to be like a lesser country. But the fact that, look, they're like, you get married to who you want. We don't care. We don't care. Just live your best life. I think that's something to look up to. And, hopefully one day in the United States, a lot of these things that I personally consider to be very trivial, because I'm telling you, I could think about 20 other things that would be more important to me to solve immediately than TikTok.
right,
Than TikTok.
right,
20,
right,
20 other things. I can
right,
give you a list right now of 20 other
right,
problems we have in the United States or as American citizens that are way more important than TikTok, than a little
right,
app, you
right.
know?
And I find that it's so ironic that Thailand just passed that when
Mhm.
the current administration literally just signed an executive order yesterday that, you know, that places of business can discriminate now against, people because of
It's
their sexual
wild.
orientation. They can refuse you business. They can, you know what? I wasn't gonna do it. I wasn't gonna do it,
It's okay.
but
We're
I, my
so
whole
back to
thing
your
is,
question.
yeah,
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 back to your question. So a lot of people do look to America. It's, on the
mm,
news. I was very lucky in the sense that my MLK Junior Day was beautiful. It didn't have nothing to do with no politics. No, there was no inauguration because we are a day ahead over here.
right,
So the
right.
20th was a beautiful day for me. But the next day we did see, on the Japanese news, they talked in depth about it. And I think what I have noticed more people talking about are the executive orders, specifically the January Sixers, which is, I think, pretty shocking. I vividly remember my students, because I was teaching at that time, that were talking
Mm,
to me and asking me, like, is this a movie? Like, they were very confused,
wow,
like, what's going on? And I was like, oh my God,
wow.
yeah, no, this is real. And they just couldn't believe it because they've never really seen anything like that in America. A lot of young people that I encountered, and specifically at that time, and even now, 2011, like, for them, they really remember, I guess, big events were like the March 11th earthquake that they had in Japan, which was the great Tohoku earthquake where a lot of people died. But a lot of people don't know like September 11th. It's something that's in a
Mhm,
book to them. So they didn't live through it like we did. Because I know you
right.
remember where you were and what
Oh
you were
yeah.
doing. Yeah.
Oh
So
yeah.
where were you, in school maybe?
Yeah, so I was at Morris Brown College. I was actually at my then boyfriend's apartment.
Mm-hmm.
He woke me up.
Mm.
Because sleeping, and he woke me up, and he was like, "You need to turn on the news." And for me specifically, it was frightening because my mom worked over there. My couldn't get in touch with my mother for like a day. Did not know if my mother was alive. Didn't know if my mother was dead. That was one of the most emotionally intense days I've ever had, you know. And I think for me, you know, in retrospect, a lot of people talk about, it was a mourning for America, this
Mm.
and that. But being from New York, that was like, yo, this my home.
Right.
Like I
Yeah.
couldn't tell you how many times like I had walked by those buildings. That was actually my landmark. Like when I was younger, my mom and I was first using the train and whatnot, my mom would
Hmm.
always say, you want to always look for the if you could see the towers from this position, you're almost home. Like that
Okay.
was always my landmark to get back to the house. And then
Mm.
all of a sudden that landmark was no longer there.
Right.
So for me it was a different feeling. It was just like, yo, like that's my home. It wasn't
Yeah.
even just America, but it was New York.
I think
It
definitely
was
like the
New York.
skyline symbol. It's very much like
Yeah,
certain cities just have this symbol. And like you're
right.
saying, like I was in college and I remember exactly where I was, what I was doing. I was working the front desk of Georgia Hall at Valdosta State University in South Georgia. Go Blazers. And people were coming. There was this one girl that she used to always break up with her boyfriend and she would cry and whatnot. She was coming in crying. I just figured, oh, because it was like early in the morning and I was just dead tired.
Right,
I
right.
felt like she was just doing her normal breakup, cry, come back routine. And then other people started coming back in and they were all whispering. And then my really good friend came in and she was like, do you not know what happened? And we went to the lounge room in the bottom of our dormitory. They had a lounge room and watched it. And as we were watching it, the second plane hit. And I was like, wait,
Yep.
is this real?
Real,
Is this
real,
happening? Like, is
exactly,
this live or real?
exactly.
So I think for our people of our age, we remember that event so vividly.
Yeah,
And then the second time to have that, for me, the second time to really see something like that, because we, as Americans, we go through school shootings. It's like a regular Wednesday, or whatever. It happened. Unfortunately, it happens all the time.
right.
School shootings, but
Yeah.
also like different events and whatnot. But I would say the January 6th thing, when I saw that, it reminded me of, September 11th. And,
Yeah.
and in this sense that like, oh my God, this is a major landmark. This is a major symbol of America. And these people are
Right.
overtaking it.
Yeah. I think for me, it was the same thing was like, is this for real? Is this
Hmm.
really happening? But it was also for me, I was just like, you hypocrites. Like, that's all I
Yes.
kept thinking. I was
Yes.
like, you claim to love this country and you wave this flag and all, but yet you would desecrate the place that you say you love so much, and you take such pride in, and but and that's all. It was just sheer and utter embarrassment, and I was
Yeah.
just like, oh my
So
gosh, I was just
imagine
like,
that embarrassment, but having to explain to Japanese
to
students, adult students
oh
that you're
my gosh,
teaching that are interested in going to
yeah,
America,
yeah,
that, love America, whether it be for sports or music or arts or just, the nature that they've seen in books and on TV,
yeah,
and having to explain that was
yeah,
hard. And
yeah.
so to see that they basically got off scot-free. Also, people died, like, people were injured,
Oh yeah,
and so I think more so I've had the Japanese friends I've had contacted me and were like, I can't believe that they
let
just
them, yeah.
yeah, just
But
like
you
for
know
that
what?
for that.
But again, that administration, that was something they ran on. They said they
Hmm.
were going to do that.
Yeah, yeah.
Like that's my whole thing. It's like, you know, the things that were said during the election period, the
Hmm.
platforms that were run on, they're just following through with what they said. And for
Yeah.
me, it's like, you can't be surprised. I think what surprises me more is the people who voted for this administration are
Hmm.
now acting shocked, like, oh my gosh, homegirl, what's her name? Francesca on I believe her name is
Oh,
Francesca
with
on I
the
never
leopards.
thought the
Yeah.
leopards would eat my face. Like, but
Yeah.
it's true,
Right.
it is. It's true. Why are you acting shocked when they've been saying this? There should be no reason. I think today the largest police foundation or something who endorsed that administration,
Hmm.
literally endorsed that administration, now is upset because of the pardons for the January Sixers. And it's like, but again, you knew
Right.
what
What was going on? What was
what
going to
was
happen?
happening. You supported this. You can't act shocked now. That's my whole thing. And I think more than anything, I because of course we were here for the 20th, but just like you said, that was Martin Luther King Day.
Right. Right.
I was very much talking to my kids about Black history. I had a breakdown about Emmett Till.
Yeah.
We went
Yes.
to
Yes.
Little Tokyo. We had lunch. We enjoyed our day, and we focused on that. That's what we focused on. As again, me being a 92 percenter, that's what I'm focused on. I will
Right.
say, and this is to the audience. This is to
Hmm.
y'all watch.
Okay.
This is exactly what I want to say. For those of us who did not have any kind of revelry when Monday came,
Hmm.
I will say this. We know what's going on. Stay aware.
Hmm.
Always stay aware. Always know what's happening. Take care of your home. Don't just put your head in the sand. Because again, you need to be aware about what's going on. But we're not gonna doom scroll. We're not gonna, be consumed. That's the thing. You can be aware, but don't let it consume you.
Hmm.
Don't argue with the bigots. Don't
Yeah.
argue
There's
with
no
the bigots.
reason.
Don't argue with people who, have the intention on misunderstanding you or not wanting to listen. Leave them alone. Leave them alone. My whole thing with the next 4 years is two of the most precious things on this earth is your time and your energy.
Hmm.
Um, you can't get your time back once it's gone, and your energy is your purpose. You don't give people your energy who don't deserve it.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
whole thing. These next 4 years, that's what we're going to do. We're going to focus on putting our energy and our time, the two most precious things on this earth, to things that
Yeah.
only work for our purpose and our betterment.
Facts.
And we're not
Facts.
going to do it alone. We're not going to do it alone. You're going to
Mm.
create your community. If you don't have community, you already have community. You're going to build on your community. You're going to keep yourself informed. We're going to read. We're going to drink our water. We're
Hydrate
going to stay healthy. We're
while you're
going to make our
playing.
gardens. We're going to spend
Hmm.
time with our family. We're going to be with our friends. We're going to have new
Yes. Yes.
experiences. We're going to travel. That's what I want for us.
Yeah.
Okay? That's what I want for us. For the people on the other side, I hope you learn from your actions. That's all
Hmm.
I'm going to say. Again, if you committed to being where you are, that's you. God bless you. I have nothing to do with that. But for those of you who are having regrets, having second thoughts, now realizing, I didn't think this through. Learn. Let's
Yeah.
learn. Let's
Definitely.
learn and
Yeah.
implement your learning. And we're going to move forward.
Hmm.
And when
Hmm.
those primaries come, not just the presidential election, when your primaries come, when you got to vote for a mayor, your
Midterms.
senators, your
Yeah.
congress people, your comptrollers, I don't care what election it is, you're going to do it appropriately and you're going to do it informed because you've learned. You've
Right.
grown and you've learned and you're going to implement that learning. So
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I have to say, my friends. And
I feel that. And I think also in learning, because people do make mistakes.
yeah,
Or you may not
yeah,
have thought it was a mistake, but later you might realize it. That's
yeah.
something I did talk with my kids about on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, because they
Mm,
know Martin Luther King Jr., but like Emmett Till,
mm,
Mississippi Burning, just all of these different stories that are brutal and that people need to learn. So
yeah,
that is something that's not really taught in Japan because it is a homogeneous society. Everybody looks the same. Everybody's Asian for the most part. They don't really learn a lot about that history. But they also don't learn a lot about their own history.
history.
And
Hmm.
every country has issues, has
Yeah.
done something in the past that they should not be proud of, or they should not ever repeat again. And so
Mhm.
that's something that I talked about with my kids. But I also told them, like, even though we feel like we shouldn't repeat this, it should never happen again, there are still things happening. And
Mhm.
I want you to know it's not okay. So when you see something happening, say something.
Mhm.
Even if you don't feel comfortable in that moment, or you don't feel safe in that moment to say something, come tell me, or
Mhm.
come tell, your grandma, or if you want to
Right.
tell your dad or whoever, tell someone that
Right.
you feel comfortable telling, that so they
Right.
can handle it. Because it's
Right.
not okay, because there are people that are just complacent and they'll just let things go because it doesn't really necessarily affect them. And at
Right.
the end of the day, it's all going to come back, and eventually may come back around to you. And if you didn't speak up
Right.
for them, then who's going to
Them.
speak up for you?
Exactly. Exactly. I
So
completely agree.
we had
That's
some good
how
conversations about things in the
making that
past.
community talking, and that's where it starts talking again. It starts with learning. It starts with reading, inform again. Be informed,
Yes,
y'all. Be
yes.
informed. Whether that's talking to people, having these conversations. And I know for some folks, these conversations are hard to have. I get it. I do. I get it. Some of these conversations you don't want to have. Some of these conversations are difficult, but the difficult conversations are necessary. They are. They're necessary, and it's only gonna make you better. And that's what we striving for over
Yes,
these next 4 years. We gonna
yes.
be better.
Better
We
for
gonna
sure
be
in
better.
all aspects. So I
So
think that's really where we are,
yeah,
today. Over here,
yeah,
at least, people did have questions and they were just like, I don't understand. And I was like, you're not the only one. I think a lot of people were focused mostly on that. And then, the other thing that someone messaged me late last night about, one of my good Japanese friends, was like, that was obviously very much a Nazi salute. And I told them, there is no doubt about it. You saw what you saw. And that was another thing. I didn't go into details about it with my kids. They have studied history. My dad is like a World War II, just buff. So we
yeah,
watched all the
yeah.
movies, all the
And your
documentaries.
dad is also a veteran as well.
Yes, yes. And
Your
so,
your father fought for this country.
right. So,
So,
my kids have seen many movies and many questions my daughter, especially my eldest daughter, has asked about how could such atrocities happen to a whole country, but also a whole region, to be specific.
right,
And I said,
right,
it's still
right.
happening today. It's still happening in Gaza. It's still happening all over the world, in parts of Africa. It's still happening,
Yes.
all over the world. So I said, like we mentioned earlier, it comes back to, if you see something, say something. But more so, don't let people tell you what you saw.
No, to be true.
What
Yep,
you know
exactly.
to be true, don't let someone try to trick you into thinking it
Exactly.
wasn't what it was. And that goes
Yeah.
into like all aspects of life. And that's literally what I told my Japanese friend too. In a message, I said, all aspects of life, whether it be your relationship, your job, what
Mm-hmm.
you see on the street, if you saw it with your eyes, and as long as you know you are not a drug
Right.
user, you know what
Right.
you saw.
Girl,
You're not
exactly.
under
I saw it.
narcotics
I
or the
smelt
influence of
it. I
alcohol.
yeah,
You
exactly.
know
I
what you
heard
saw.
it, all of it.
Hmm.
Don't let them gaslight you, y'all. Don't let them
No.
gaslight you.
And
Just
that my friend
don't.
that sent that to me was like, you are so right. And I said,
Don't
yeah,
don't let them gaslight you.
in every
And
aspect of life.
yes,
So, and
Kelsey, you're
sometimes,
right. In every aspect of life. In
and the thing is,
every
yes,
aspect
yes,
of
you
life.
don't have to go out there and and say something to the world, sometimes saying
Right.
something is being silent and cutting people off. Sometimes delivering a message is the best message is silence, shut
Mm-hmm.
down, blocking,
Mm-hmm.
moving
So
on.
don't argue with them bigots, y'all.
Right,
I keep
right.
telling y'all. Stop arguing with them. That's what they want. That's what they don't get me wrong. Some people, they have their platforms and that's how they
Right.
get their money going back and forth with these people. Because let me tell you, some people have funded their vacations going back and forth with a
Oh,
bigot.
wow.
I'm telling y'all, don't waste your time. Because guess
Yes,
what?
and
Once you talk,
energy.
get it back. Don't waste your energy
Mm-mm,
on these bigots. Leave
mm-mm.
them alone. Just leave, like she just said, block them.
Yeah,
Just block,
block them, block
block,
them.
block, 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 block. Like just hit that block button, y'all.
I'm making
Hit
a
the
song.
block.
Block, 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 block. I'm gonna be going around. My daughter's gonna be dancing to that.
Yeah,
Block, block.
the
But no,
block song.
I feel you. Like block.
You know.
And I would say even more so for me in these 4 years, I'm saying like no is a complete answer, which is something that you always say. No is not
Oh
only a complete sentence, it's a complete answer. No,
yeah.
period. I'm not going to
No.
tell you anything more because I think that is something that I've done for a long time is I feel the
Mm-hmm.
need to explain or the
Plain
need to back it up with
girl.
the validation. And
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because I've lived over here for so long. I feel like in some instances, Japanese people can be really intrusive and just kind of ask about, well, why? Well, what's the reason why you can't come? Or like, what are you doing that, you can't, come to my whatever, whatever. And it's sometimes I'm just moisturizing, hydrating and in my bed. That's the reason why I can't come. But I
Girl,
always
it
feel
ain't just
like,
Japan. They do it here too. They
okay,
do it here. Let me tell you, as the only child,
mm-hmm,
I was taught to constantly explain myself or constantly have to say yes. I could not say no. Saying no
right,
was being disrespectful,
right. That's how it seems.
That's a lesson that I had to learn well into my adulthood. No is a complete sentence. You're right. No is a complete answer. I don't have to explain myself. I've said no. And I
Yeah,
wish you a wonderful day.
yeah.
Like
So doing
you're
more of
dead
that,
right.
doing more of like, just no,
Yes.
not for
Yes.
me. Sorry. No, can't.
Yes.
Have a good
Yes.
day and keep it moving, Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's really where we are. Of course, if people have questions, I still keep in touch with a lot of my former students. Some of them became friends and, some of them even got married and had families and I'm very close with their family. And so I will still, answer their questions as best as I can or try to point them in the right direction. But like you said, the next 4 years is about me and my
Right.
family. So yeah.
That's right. That's right. And y'all, like, while we on it, while we talking about, what's coming, in the future and things, let's talk about our goals.
Mm.
Talked about it. Kelsey, what else is a goal for you for specifically for this year, for 2025?
So one of our good mutual friends came up with this. Well, I don't know if she came up with the idea, but she had talked about how she is implementing, getting rid of 2 things a day. 2 things a day.
Yeah.
And I
Yes.
was like, 2 things a day? Well, what kind of,
Yeah.
what, tell me more. And so when she started talking about it, it made so much sense. Like if you look around your house, I will show you, there is a mountain of clothes over here. But 2 things a day, you could easily get rid of 2 things in your house. And by getting rid of it, it's not necessarily just throwing stuff out. It's maybe
Right.
repurposing it, recycling it, giving it to someone who could use it, giving it to
Right.
a charity. Um, that has motivated me so much. And there have been a
Mm.
couple days where I didn't get on it. So I was like, if I don't do 2 things a day, I'm at least do 8 or 10 things a week. And I've
Mm.
even brought my children into it. So they have started going through their room. They found toys that they haven't played with in like 6 years.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
found, stuff that moved from the last house to here that they didn't even really like. Books that
Right.
we weren't interested in, and just clothes that are like 4 sizes too small, things that are
Right.
ripped or torn, or just So we have bags that I've got bags I'm taking to a shelter. I've got another bag that I'm taking to Book Off, which is like a book recycling, not a book recycling, but it's basically like a place you can sell books and CDs and DVDs over
Right.
here.
Right.
I've got a bag over there that I'm going to take to some American military friends that had just had a baby. They can use that. I've
Aw.
got a bag that is going out on recycling day of just stuff. It is amazing how you will find so many things that are cluttering your house, which is also cluttering, I personally believe, cluttering your heart and your mind.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah.
and just get rid of it.
Wholeheartedly.
Yes,
Yes.
this concept is
Wholeheartedly.
nothing new. It's not rocket science, it's
Right.
nothing. But
Right.
once I started doing it, 2 things a day, and then there were like a couple days that I missed it. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to make up for it on the weekend. And I found 4 or 5 or 6 things. When I started doing that, I saw space that I didn't have. I saw ideas coming through that couldn't maybe come through because it was so cluttered in
Mhm.
that area. I saw
Yeah.
books that I hadn't read, and I was like, I found that we had three of the same book. Three.
Yeah.
Three of the same book in the same language. It's different if you have it in Japanese and English, but three
Japanese.
of
Right.
the same book in English.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because you
You
just
know what?
rebuy stuff.
I feel like we both live in consumer countries,
Very much so.
people always want to talk about, Japanese minimalists and that.
Oh,
No, Japanese people love buying stuff.
they do.
They love buying, and let me tell you, it's fun shopping in Japan, so I don't blame them. But
Mhm.
I think it's so easy to end up just having a bunch of stuff. I feel like we don't realize how cluttered our lives are and how
Yes.
consumed we are with things, until you do start doing the paring down. Like you know me, I love purging. I
Yeah,
will
you
purge,
do purge. You
especially when it comes to clothes. Y'all, if I'm like I can't wear it, or it's too tight, or it's too small, or it's been in this closet for, I'm
Mhm.
not. I want to get down to it. No, I haven't worn it. It's got to go. It's got
Yeah,
to get up
yeah.
out of my. You know, I feel like you don't realize how much stuff you have. And you're just like, I don't, like you were saying. It's like, I don't need this. Why do I have three of the same stuff? Like literally
Yeah.
asking, like, what am I doing?
What
Like,
am
why
I
do
doing?
I
And
have
then
all this stuff?
it helps you reassess your finances and also like just how you're thinking about, like you said, consumerism. And so
Yeah.
seeing that the three of the same book, I'll bet that is a great book, but three of them, I was just like, Kelsey, what is wrong with you? And so that weekend I told my kids, no, we're about to go through these rooms, figure some stuff out. I know there's some stuff that you don't need or you don't want or you haven't used. And let's see how we can, repurpose it or give it away or do something with it. I love this idea and I'm with this vibe for the rest of the year. I'm with this vibe. And also just really
Uh-huh.
being conscious of what I'm spending my money on
That part.
because there are
That part.
times when we equate our emotions with like purchases, with sales, with food, sweets.
Mhm.
But I want to really no, I feel you. I want to really
Yeah.
repurpose my
Yeah.
emotions to experiences.
Yeah.
So instead of wasting that money, because at the end of the day, when we're all long and gone, we're really just memories and experiences that we leave for other people. And
Amen.
so
Amen.
I don't want to leave my kids a house full of junk. That
Mhm.
it may seem like junk to them, but to me it was very valuable or it held like a place close to my heart. But the pictures that, Coral made when she was 4 years old are not going to mean as much to her as they did to me when
You're
she gets
right.
older.
Right.
Same thing,
Right.
with the macaroni necklaces or, the first book that she read, it's not going
Right.
to have that much value for her. But
Her.
the experiences that I can give her or, her sister Shore, those experiences, I feel like they'll remember it because I still remember the trips I went with my parents and grandparents and other
Yeah.
family members. So I
Oh,
want to
you're
give them those experiences,
right.
those things, because that stuff I feel like will stick with you way longer than anything materialistic.
Right. You're absolutely right.
Hmm.
Like that has always been from the time that, I was pregnant with Messiah,
Hmm.
to now. I always kept in my mind, and it could also have been um being a teacher as well. It's like knowing that specifically children, they want your time,
Yeah.
your kids want your time. And even for those of you who don't have children, you know, the people who love you and the people that you love, they want your time. Kelsey's
Yeah.
completely right. They want those memories. When you think back when someone has passed, when someone has transitioned, you know, you remember, oh, remember grandma used to make da da da, and you remember, oh, remember we used to go to the church picnic and da da. You remember. She's absolutely right. You have the memories. You know, yes, you might have a keepsake, or you might have, you know, a necklace, or you know,
We call them like
I
the
had
jujus,
my
the jujus and wham
grandmother's
whams.
cast iron pots. You know,
Right. The
like
cast iron pots or a
right,
necklace. Yeah.
the right, but the memories, you know, and that's
Hmm.
something I always have tried my best to do, is spend as much time, even being a working mother, you know, and that was always like, you know, I always felt not that I had to overdo it because I wasn't able to stay home with my children,
Hmm.
but I said, you know what? I will learn to balance. I will learn to spend time with them, even if we're just spending time in the house. You know,
Yeah.
let them out a movie. You know, we gonna
Hmm.
make some popcorn. We gonna have some hot chocolate. You know, your kids just
Right.
want your time. The people that love you just want your time, and you're absolutely right. And I think, um, even going back to decluttering, I didn't even equate the financial aspect
Hmm.
of it, you know, until recently, you know, and looking like, wow, I was like, I spent money on this, or, you know, or, oh,
Why?
I don't have
Yeah.
to buy another one of these because I already have it, kind of, you know, kind of thing, you know, and didn't realize it, or, oh, no, this will work. And, you know, I think specifically this year, and even
Yeah.
years to come, Lord willing, that um we, especially as Black women, you know, we really need to take care of our finances. We really need to be financially literate, you know.
Yes.
Like you said, sticking to that budget, you know, where is this money going? You know,
Right. Writing it
can I
down.
of it. You know, oh, I've got a little save. Let me put that in the emergency fund. Oh, you know what? We don't need this. Let me sell this. Put this little money. Oh, I can invest it. You know,
Right.
those things. I definitely think that's something that we need to be conscious of, and that's also something for myself.
Yeah.
That I want to work on. If anyone is watching this who is financially literate, y'all want to
Yes.
help us out, put your information in the
Put it in
comments, y'all.
there. Yes.
Again, community. We're building this community. Help us out. Let us know, what should we be investing in? How we get rid of debt? All of that. Maybe bankruptcy is a good option. You know,
Hmm.
depending on the situation. If you know about finance, let us know.
Definitely.
Talk to
Yeah.
us. Let us know where we can follow you. You know.
Right. Right. I think that's definitely like clearing all those cluttered spaces really helps,
Yeah.
whether it be like finances, whether it be like, health related things that you
Mm,
haven't been taking care of that you need to take care
girl.
of.
Yes.
Time is going to keep passing and you're going to say, oh, I'll do it next week or I'll do it next month or next year. And then before you know it, it's like, it's gone. So
Another
you
year.
really need to take care of what you can control. I can't control nothing that is going on with that person, but I can control what's going on right here
Yep.
with me.
Exactly.
And so that's really where I'm at right now. But this 2 items, let me tell you, you will find so many. And the other thing that really has brought me joy is like people that get the stuff and they're happy to get it. Or they're like excited, or they're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, this is so cute," or "Oh, thank you so
Yeah.
much." Or like, I gave some of Coral's, my 5-year-old's baby clothes away because I'm not having any more babies. And one of my
Right.
friends was so happy. She was like, "This is so cute. Thank you." And even
Right.
if they just use it to wear it at home or, if they're just playing in the backyard or something, that makes me happy knowing that I could give it to someone else and they were happy to receive it.
Right.
So,
Alexa talking in the background. She's telling me
um,
about the. Oh, that's right, girl. Thank you. I told you last episode. Be nice. Be nice to
yeah,
AI.
be nice.
Um, be nice. But you're right. I love it. I know. The kids have recently. They've been, getting on their stuff. And they went through almost, a bunch of books.
Yeah.
They're about to be, Masai's about to be 15, Yui's 10. They don't need Dr. Seuss anymore. They don't need the picture books anymore. They've outgrown that. So they actually ended up donating this huge, huge collection of picture books and young reader books to Altadena, which was one of
Oh,
the
wow.
communities that
Yeah.
was severely affected by the fires here in LA, and
That's
that's something
awesome.
where we know that there's a community that
Yes.
needs it. It's like
Yes.
we're saying that repurposing. There's always people in need. There's always, a, a a way you can donate your time, your energy, your things. It doesn't always have to be monetary.
Yeah.
You really do feel good about it. Now I
Hmm.
was just happy that, we could do something for people who needed it, kids who needed it, those
Yeah.
kids have some picture books, and we might be a little slice of the pie going, but at least we're
Right.
and I like that. I like knowing that, and it's a beautiful thing,
It
you
is, it
know.
really is. And so I think like just continuing with that whole vibe this year, and not saying you can't buy anything or you can't, keep things that
Right.
you do find important to you. Like for me, it's definitely pictures, it's definitely books, certain books. But, like I said, do I need, these crafts that you made when you were in daycare, 6 years ago? They were cute. Oh, no, take a picture. We'll take a picture of it and then we'll keep it moving because at the end of the day, like I said, when when
Take them.
when we get when I get old and they're older, they're gonna be like, "What is this? Oh, I made that," but they're not gonna have the same feeling, the same
Yeah.
value of it, that I did. So. We'll take a picture and it's nice, but we're gonna put it away. I use the excuse of kabi. I'm like, oh, if we keep this, we'll get kabi. Kabi is basically like mold or mildew. I'm like, oh, we can't keep that because, too many papers together. Kabi's going to come. So, yeah, we'll just get rid of that.
Word of the week, guys. Hobby.
Kabi,
Somebody
yeah.
trying to
Mm-mm.
hold on to you
We don't want
now.
the
We don't
mold.
want
We don't want the
hobby.
mildew. Yep.
We don't want hobby.
Yeah. But I think, one thing that I don't want to get rid of, I have certain books that I like to reread,
Yeah.
music. So I have certain records that I'm
Yeah.
holding on to. I'm not getting rid of it. And so
Yeah.
speaking of, music, tying it into like our okazu, developing
Okaza.
our playlist. Yes, our okazu for this episode, our little side dish is our music, our playlist. What vibes are you bringing? What has got you grooving?
I'm all about high energy, purpose. So every year I make a playlist for
Okay.
the year. That's literally like my theme music for the year. That's my, and of course I'll add to the playlist as the year goes by, different songs come out or I
Hmm.
hear something. Oh yeah, but usually my top 5 will play out through the year. So um I know I've got Beyonce My House on there.
Okay.
I've got that playing cause I Beyonce Bowl was it, y'all. When she did that, I'm like, oh yeah. Who came this me? Like, yes. I'm like theme song. Don't make me get up out my I be walking down the street. I know these white people be thinking I'm crazy. I be dancing.
Like
Dancing
exercising, you're like in the
sidewalk,
street. They're like,
going
let's
to
go.
pick up my child because I always have my headphones on. I know they like, oh, she just the happy black lady. I also have, of course, for me because I'm a huge Kendrick fan. Kendrick will always, always, always be on there. Of course, TV off is on there because it's hype. Mustard.
Yeah,
But
you know what?
also,
I heard that in Coral's gym where we take her for the where she goes for swim lessons. I was in there. I had to get out and record for my brother. All of a sudden, it was like, do mustard, and it was uncut. And I'm in the gym, like, getting in it. And I didn't even realize the Japanese people, because they don't understand. I mean, unless they
right,
like hip hop music,
right,
it's just playing in the background for them. And I'm
right,
like, yeah, yeah. And then you know
right.
what? They followed it with like, I don't even know this channel, but it was like, I'm sure they're using some system. It wasn't like a Spotify. It's probably like a USEN or something like that. I don't know. But it was followed by a Taylor Swift song, I feel like. I don't even remember which one it was, but I didn't even match. It didn't even
That's
like,
enough, girl.
it
Yeah.
didn't match. And then right after that, it was, who is it? Glorilla.
Oh,
It's seven.
she on there
Yes,
too.
yes. And I was like, and you know, it was a whole vibe. So I was
She on
enjoying
there
all
too.
the
Let Her
songs.
Cook, that's on there. Let Her Cook is
Um,
on there. Kendrick's
oh,
Man in the Garden. That's my meta. That's like I
yes,
deserve it
yes,
all. Cause
yes,
I'm like, yeah, I'm constantly like, I deserve it all. I
yes.
do. What I tell y'all, time and energy. I'm putting that together because I deserve it all.
Right,
So
right.
I very much about, and my kids will tell you, I'm like, be conscious of what you say. Be conscious
Mm-hmm.
of because your thoughts become things, And even
Yes, yes.
like I'll be saying something negative, like I was saying something today, and my daughter was like, "Mommy, don't know." She was like, "No, no." She was like, "Oh, mommy, you're confident." I'm like, "No, I'm not confident." And she said, "No." She was like, "Your thoughts become." I was like, "You're right, girl. I'm confident.
Not
I
usually
got
hyping you up.
your
She can't.
hair." Like it's like, yeah, that's right. Your thoughts become things. So yeah, so when I be listening to Kendrick Lamar,
Yeah,
especially Garden, I deserve it. All of that. I'm just imagining, yeah, you're gonna finish your book, girl. Yeah, this podcast is gonna blow up, girl. Yeah, we gonna do this and we gonna travel. We deserve it all. So again, these are just a few songs that I have. I highly encourage y'all because music is therapy,
yes,
music is
yes,
therapy. Make yourself a playlist,
yes.
for the year. Keep adding to it. And then by the end of the year, you'll be like, oh, yeah, these were my jams.
Right,
That's
right,
you
right.
bring it to year with that, and start it all over again. Start it all over
I
again.
feel that. I feel that. I'm gonna go develop mine right now because mine is all over the place with the
Do it.
kids. But yeah,
All
all over the place. But yeah, the playlist definitely. The music, because music, like you said, it's not only for relaxation, but it's motivation.
yeah.
Definitely, it can hype you up.
Yep.
I remember going into a job that I hated, and I would be in the car before work, be listening to DMX and just being like,
Everybody.
you know.
Everybody with the next
And
got
then I
rest
could get out and go inside, and I could somehow make it through that day. So
girl.
yeah,
Yeah. Music is healing, y'all. It's healing. I highly recommend. Make your playlist, y'all. Make
for
your
real,
playlist.
for real.
Well, everybody, that is it for
Yeah,
us. Episode 2. We
number
thank you.
2.
Thank you so much for watching, you guys. You could be anywhere, but we're so happy to have you here.
Here,
As
yeah, for
always,
real.
please subscribe, please like, please share. Tell
Mm-hmm.
your watch us again. Leave us comments. Let us know what you think. Again, financial literacy. Put it in there. Book recommendations, song recommendations,
Yes.
whatever comments you want to put, y'all, put it in there. We read them. We see y'all. We so thankful that y'all see us. And I guess
Yeah. Until next time.
we'll see y'all next week.
Yeah, we'll see you. Bye.